Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I have somebody that I have stalked on Facebook for you today. He runs an organization called Nationwide Real Estate Investment Clubs. And I just knew I had to get him on, and we were able to work something out just before Christmas. So this should be a lot of fun. Let's welcome Keith Jenkins to the show. How you doing, Keith?
Hey, everybody. Thank you. Doing
Hey.
great. Thanks.
Keith, so first off, great work on the Facebook page. Nationwide Real Estate Investment Clubs is always got something going on, lots of contributors. So congratulations for that. That's not easy to do.
Thank you.
So why don't
Work in
we,
progress.
absolutely. Why don't you kind of introduce our audience to who is Keith Jenkins and a little bit about your backstory?
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me here. And I appreciate the opportunity to share with you and your team and your group. And probably the best way to tell about what I do is kind of give a little backstory and a little bit of history on my story and kind of how I started out in the industry, where I'm at now, and what we put together. I mean, is that kind of what you're...
Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Okay, great. Well, my name's Keith. They call me Cowboy Keith. If you go online and look at Cowboy Keith, anything to do with real estate investing, I'll show up all over the place. But I wrote my first offer when I was 19.
Oh, nice.
I didn't have any money. I didn't have any experience. I didn't have anything. The offer was not accepted.
Well, you wrote one. That counts.
But hey, yeah, we got started. Now, even prior to that, I'm one of those guys, my older brother, he was a couple years older than me. We were the type, we'd stay up all night watching, the late night TV, get rich quick stuff, and I probably bought every one of those courses ever. Carlton Sheets.
Carlton Sheets. Absolutely.
Yeah. Remember that one?
Oh,
yeah.
I do vividly.
And, a couple of those different Rich Dad, Poor Dad, different type of stuff. I probably spent $100,000 on my education in real estate and real estate investing. And what happened for me is that I didn't really get into real estate investing till I was a little bit older. I was in my 40s. I started out doing loans, doing mortgages. I did mortgages for a while, and then I got married. My wife did real estate, traditional real estate. And back then we were what we call double dipping. We were getting the mortgage commission and the real estate commission. And, I'm not that bright sometimes, but I know that was a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting both sides of a transaction, Then the crash hit, and it hit really hard for me. This was back in 2007. Okay. I know a lot of millennials that are in today don't remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
But it was very, very life-changing for me. We went from, 25 to 40 grand a month in personal production to literally zero overnight.
Wow.
We had 7 loans in with a company called New Century Mortgage.
I remember them. Yeah.
Remember them?
Oh, I do.
And they literally locked their employees out of the building one morning.
Yep.
And they couldn't get in, let alone process any of our loans. Right. So literally overnight, our business was basically just over. And, I went from making $250,000 a year to literally nothing overnight. And of course, I didn't have anything saved. I didn't have anything, I wasn't prepared for that at all. I guess looking back now, I could see the handwriting was on the wall, but, that didn't help me at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so, it was kind of like a country song in reverse. I lost everything slowly. I lost my rentals, then I lost my main house, I lost my cars, I lost my horses, and I lost my wife. I'm not going to tell you which one hurt more.
Fair enough. That's funny.
And, I kind of got away from the business. I still had all the bills and the lifestyle, not the lifestyle, but I had all the bills of a person that lives that kind of a lifestyle, and literally just lost everything. Stepped away from the business for several years. And in 2013, I got reintroduced into the business. And that's a real powerful, hard thing for somebody to do is to lose everything.
Yeah.
For people that have never experienced serious loss like that, consider yourself lucky.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a tough lesson too, and, coming out of it, I had realized a couple of basic premises about business, about real estate, a couple of key points that if I could teach anybody anything, these kind of couple of key points that I kind of base my entire business on is that one is real estate is about people. It's not about property. Okay. Yeah. Property will always be there. It's the people that have the problems and the dreams and the aspirations and the goals, right? Sometimes when people are in trouble, they can't think straight, right? And sometimes when people want to really build something, they need to think differently. So one of the couple of key premises is one is what I call the hamster wheel of personal production. Okay. This is when we're chasing. Yeah. We get a big deal, boom, yay, big paycheck, right? Yeah. And then what do? We go right back to doing it all over again. Yeah. And this was really, really apparent to me in the traditional real estate business model, where you have buyers and sellers and real estate agents and mortgage officers. They're all just trying to get their next deal. Right. How do I pay the rent? Even people with a regular job, it's the same thing. I got to go to work to get that next paycheck. Right. Yep. And the hamster wheel is very, very much trained and taught and educated in our society. Right.
For sure.
Go get a good job, get a good education, get a good job, work real hard. Yep. That worked for my dad. My dad worked at IBM for 35 years and retired with 75 or 80% of his salary or whatever, a pension and stock and the whole thing. For our generation,
not there.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was the first thing that I noticed was there's this hamster wheel going on in the industry, and it's about people, not about production or not about property rather. And then the next thing that I learned is that most of the people that were really, truly millionaires in real estate and had the time freedom and had, the things that we all kind of want, right? Which is they have multiple streams of income. They have many different things going on, and when I'm talking to people on a day-to-day basis, growing my business, this is the biggest, I don't want to say mistake, but the biggest misunderstanding that people have about growing a business is that they're going to need multiple streams of income, in my opinion, no matter what they're doing. Even if they're the greatest at the world in wholesaling or whatever, and they make 50 grand every time and they're doing that 3 times a month, great. You're doing great. Now what?
Right.
What happens when you break a leg or you can't show up to work or, so it's no different than any other kind of business that we're involved with. I meet real estate agents all the time that have been in the real estate business doing, what I call the hamster wheel, right? Chasing traditional deals. And 20, 30 years later, they're doing the exact same thing they were when they got started in the business. That wasn't my plan. That wasn't my goal, right? I got in the real estate business because I actually wanted to create wealth in real estate. There's a key distinction that has to happen in people's head. They have to make that transition from let me chase this next deal to what do we do to actually create wealth in real estate investing. Does that all make sense so far?
It does. Yeah. Just couple of fill in the gaps real quick, just to make sure I get the story right. So you write your first offer at 19. You watch all the infomercials at night, Carlton Sheets and the like, and then you get into it in your 40s.
Right,
So from 20 to 40, it's just normal career life, family, and all of that? Or was there, did you ever buy anything after that first offer, or what happened those 21 years?
Yeah, it was a big gap. No, I did the traditional, I think I was a manager at Radio Shack for a little while. I kind of bounced around at some different sales jobs.
Yep.
I sold long distance telephone service door to door for a while. Just really nothing I could really sink my teeth into, just bouncing around. I had a son. I had 2 marriages during that time. So it was really a rough time for me.
Yeah.
And I could never really find my calling, if you want to call it that. I mean,
Right.
I did catering, I drove for Uber, I drove for Uber Eats, I delivered pizza. I mean, just all these different types of things that I did just to try to pay the rent.
Right.
And my business, I didn't really blossom, if you will, into the real estate business until about the early 2000s when
Gotcha.
we started having the run up.
Oh yeah. Then you started crushing it with mortgages. You're double dipping with your wife.
Right.
You're living a good life, right? I mean, I was the borrower at that time. And I remember getting my first loan in 2003 for an investment house going, okay, that's an interesting process to go through. Kind of felt like a real process. And by the time it was 2006 or 7, it was like 5 minutes. There's like,
right.
Did you even check anything? I mean, what the heck is going on? There's so much paper flying around here. I have no idea what's going on. So I
think a lot of people today miss that part of it too. It's much, much more difficult today to qualify for a traditional mortgage.
Oh yeah.
Than it was, back in 2004, 2005, 2006.
And
basically, if you could fog a mirror.
Oh yeah. I'm not even sure they tested that. They didn't even bring a mirror.
Yeah, dead people were buying property, right?
Yeah, your freaking dogs and pets were buying stuff. It was crazy.
Oh, it was just crazy. And of course, I had no idea that
None of
that
us
was
did.
the way that it was supposed to be. I thought that was just, okay, this is great. It's working. We're making a lot of money. Right?
Yeah, just let's keep going. All right, then the world, countrywide. Huh?
It's one thing I'd like to say about that
Sure.
too is there's a movie.
Oh yeah.
I think it's called The Big Short.
It is, yeah.
That really describes what really happened during that time. And I think, any of our younger viewers that haven't seen that movie, I think that's kind of a great explanation of what some of the older guys went through.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The scene about them going to Vegas to check out stuff and going to Phoenix and looking at the empty houses and stuff, that's not just movie stuff. That stuff really happened.
Right. Waitress that had like 5 properties or whatever.
Oh yeah. 5, like with first and seconds, and she's going to refi out. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Yeah. All right. So then, then bad stuff happens, right? You lose a bunch of stuff, and then you get reintroduced in 2013. It was unclear to me what that reintroduction was. So
there was an idea with a way that a real estate was brokerage or was set up. Some of us have seen the models where you can recruit other people and things like that. Mm-hmm. And that was interesting to me. But one of the things that really caught my eye was that this particular company had somehow passed compliance where the real estate, I'm talking about real estate agency here. Yep. On the real estate agency side, they could actually recruit non-licensed people.
Huh.
And that was really interesting to me because the non-licensed people could go out and do marketing and recruit other agents and things like that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off for me. So we know it's about people. We know it's about getting off the hamster wheel.
Yep.
Right. Eventually.
Yep.
And we know that real estate is the way to do it.
Yep.
So that's kind of the seeds that started growing in my head at that time.
All right.
Because now people could participate in the hamster wheel simultaneously to actually building something bigger at the same time.
Got it. Very, very cool. Keith, do me a favor, move your microphone up just a little bit. It's hitting the collar of your shirt. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, no problem. So that makes sense. So you see the light bulb, you see a way to get interested people. It's absolutely a people business. There's opportunity in real estate. So right in 2013, is that where the idea comes for real estate investment clubs, or does that kind of the output of what starts in 2013?
Well, it kind of percolated. In my business is never done or never arrived. Right? We're always getting better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the concept kind of hit me one day when there was people that wanted to learn real estate investing were starting to come into my sphere, if you will.
Sure.
And there were some educational products that I had taken and that I had learned and that I became affiliated with these companies. Mm-hmm. And I would send people, to go buy this product or go check out that training, or, I'd refer people.
Yep.
Sometimes I'd make money, sometimes I wouldn't. It didn't really matter. But what I noticed was, as people started going through some of these trainings and they learn, and it's kind of like being given a doctorate of education, or okay, you're a surgeon now, but you've never done surgery. Right? Yeah. It's like you're a doctor now, but you've never met with a patient. So like the education that I had seen out there, and some very, very sophisticated educational programs that I paid for and went to,
yeah,
they never answered the question of the network, right? They never gave you a platform. They might hook you up with one or two people or something and say, call this guy, or if you ever get a deal, call us, or something like that. Mm-hmm. But there was never really a network or a connection or a platform that was built to help people actually learn how to become investors. Book knowledge is one thing.
Right.
Watching videos is another thing. Getting out there on a day-to-day basis and knocking on doors is a completely separate thing. Mm-hmm. Creating your network and building your team and your organization and your system instruction is a completely different thing as well. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. So really what you saw, the kind of Rubik's Cube that you saw, is you understood it was a people business. Clearly you valued education, but where you're coming in with this real estate investment club is you're sort of post-education, you're like in the real world, right? When people get deals or want to transact something, you are continually leveraging the network to take people out of book smart into, I guess, transaction smart. That makes sense?
Well, even one step, yes. And one step even further than that.
Okay.
It's like, okay, it's not about just doing your next transaction.
Okay.
What's it really about? It's about creating wealth in real estate and real estate investing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you can teach somebody how to do their first wholesale deal. I can teach somebody how to do their first wholesale deal. But why are they really doing this? What's their real goal here? Right. What are they really trying to achieve? And most people, like I say, most people don't get into the real estate business to do this.
Right.
They want to create wealth, but sometimes we get so distracted in the learnings and in, I can't do anything until I do my first deal. And I don't have the funding, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. And all that stuff doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. What really matters is, what are you really trying to achieve over here? What's your real goal? Mm-hmm. Because if it's to do more transactions, that's great. And we can help you do that. But then what?
But then what? Yeah, I like that. But then what? I like that.
I mean, you and I both know people that are doing, hundreds of thousands of dollars deals mm-hmm. a year, and they're making good money. But what happens when they stop?
Well, let's just be very clear. I'm on public record as saying there are a lot of people reliving what you suffered through. Well, they're right now they're in 2006. Right now there's the 25 to 40K a month. That's what they're doing. They're you in 2006. And if they're not careful, they might be you in 2008. Right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So there's a lot of youngsters that have been killing it. The last 10 years have been easy, relatively speaking. I've been doing this 20 years. So pre and post crash, I understand it all. And they don't. They just think this is going to go to the heavens. They are living the Big Short. If they want to do themselves a favor, they need to watch the Big Short for Christmas and like rewatch that like middle 20 minutes when they're in Vegas, just the nonsense going on, because they're doing it today. Yep. And we're trying to save them. So I love these kind of conversations from people that have the scars and they're not embarrassed to talk about them. It's awesome. So
that's our best learning, right? It's our biggest mistakes are our best learnings.
Oh, no question. The only way you learn is from mistakes. I mean, it's really the only way you learn. So, okay. So you create the real estate investment clubs, then you have the Facebook group. It's been around a couple of years, I think. Why is it the spot people need to go check out? I mean, let's go there.
Well, it's about whatever's next, right? If people need let me put it this way. There's a series of stair steps that are going to happen for everybody that ultimately wants to create wealth in real estate. And those stairs, I think, are the same every time. What I've seen, like I say, we're always evolving, trying to get better. I'm no expert. Right. I've had a little success. Some of my team has had a little success. I don't have all the answers, but I do see there's patterns.
Yeah.
Right. And, let's take somebody that's brand new to investing. Okay. Well, the first thing they got to do is they've got to get educated.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have ways to educate them. Some we make money with, we'll partner with them, we'll whatever is right for them. Right. But really at some point there has to be a mindset shift in their mind of, yes, I want to learn how to do real estate, but this is what I really want over here. I want the time freedom. I want the residual income. I want, whatever the big goal is. And I think that if we can teach people let's talk about the big goal first.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about how to wholesale your first deal, because that's boring. And right. No, I don't mean boring, but and you can learn that anywhere. Right.
Right.
But let's talk about what's it going to take to be a 3%er? We know that 3% of the people actually create wealth in real estate and real estate investing, or create wealth in general. We know that. That's a fact. So what's it going to take for us to be a 3%er? Not just somebody doing more deals.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. And let's talk more about that 3%er, because no interview guest has talked about that yet. Let's define it first. It's probably not safe to assume everybody's heard that before. So why don't you give more color around that?
Well, generally speaking, most people will never actually create wealth in real estate, or create wealth at all in life. We can look at the Social Security statistics.
Right.
65-70% of the people will be dead or dead broke by the time they reach age 65. I mean, we've all heard that statistic, right?
Yeah.
Right. But what does it even mean to create wealth? So if you're, and this is where it gets a little bit hazy, because if you're doing this, you're on this hamster wheel and you're making $150,000, $200,000, $300,000. That's great. You're having a good life, and you can be considered a 3%er.
Right.
But there's even one step beyond that.
Yeah.
Stepping away.
Right.
The residual income, the mailbox income. Less than 3% of the people in America today have that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
More than $150,000 on a residual type basis.
No question. Yeah. I'm on record of saying that financial freedom is hard. That's hence the 3%er, but a better financial future is easy. Right. And the key is, too many people look at social media, think financial freedom is kind of the goal. Folks, that's an awesome goal, but you've got to get through having a better financial future first. And it's sites like, the National Real Estate Investment Clubs that can help you go from education to network to really seeing the bigger picture. I liked what you said. It's about what's next. I like that, right? Wherever you are, what's next? It's the stair steps or all of it. I thought that was very well done. So what else should people talk about? Where can they find you? All of these great things.
Well, Nationwide Real Estate Investment Clubs is our Facebook page, and I really just encourage people to, before they start, figure out where are they going, because you and I can take somebody that wants to, learn how to wholesale, and we can help them do that. But what if we could take that same amount of time, effort, energy, and investment and actually start to create a path to financial freedom and true wealth?
Right.
It's the same amount of work. It's the same amount of energy. Right.
Yeah. And it's a much better use of time. Right. Which is very interesting.
Yeah. And so, and nowadays we have automation and artificial intelligence. We have, big data. We've got all these tools at our disposal, that we can just run in the background while we're doing something else. But why aren't people doing that?
Yeah.
Why aren't people taking advantage of Tim Ferriss's 4-day work week type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Automate it, let let's software and technology and big data, let's automate some of that stuff. Nobody likes hearing no on the phone all day anyway. Well, let's just automate that.
Exactly.
Right? Why aren't we doing that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I guess in closing, what I'd say is that, start with the end in mind. I hear all the day, well, I can't really do that until I do this. I can't invest in my future until I close my first deal. That is the worst kind of thinking, because we should start with our end in mind. What is the end for us? For the people watching, what is it that's ultimately your walk away dream? Right. When you're done and you can walk away and you don't want to do this anymore, what's that going to look like for you?
Yeah.
And let's start building a path towards that.
Very, very cool. Well, Keith, this has been so much fun. People definitely need to check out Nationwide Real Estate Investment Clubs. I love what you're doing. What's next? Think with the end in mind. For the people that have been only doing this 5 or 6 years, I think you need to watch The Big Short, because some of you are going to get toasted. And I've been warning you for a year now, so be careful. Keith, thank you very much for doing this. It was a lot of fun. You have a wonderful holiday season and have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Had a great time. Thanks.
Yeah.